Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack ideas, take them apart, and really get to the core of what makes them tick. Today, we're tackling something you've definitely seen but maybe haven't thought too much about.
That's right. We're looking at characters in animation whose faces, well, you never actually see them.
It seems simple, right?
Yeah.
Maybe just a stylistic choice or even, a budget thing.
That's what you might think initially. But we've been digging into this analysis based on a really insightful video transcript, and the argument is pretty compelling. Hiding a character's face is almost always a deliberate narrative.
Okay, yeah. Because when you start listing them, they're not minor characters, are they?
Not at all. Think about Miss Bellum from the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
Super competent, always there, but face hidden.
Or all the adults in Peanuts.
Yeah.
Their faces are gone, and their voices are just that wah-wah sound.
Iconic. And then there's Wizard Kelly from the Proud Family. Literally larger than life, super rich, and always cropped out of the frame.
Tom's owner in Tom and Jerry, too. Just legs, mostly.
Exactly. So animation relies heavily on visual cues, right? Exaggeration, iconography.
Yeah.
It's all about showing, not just tell.
So choosing to not show the face, that's got to mean something. The face is where we see emotion, identity.
Precisely. When animators deliberately omit that, they're making a statement. That absence, that void, it points to something deeper. It could be about authority or maybe perspective or even a big metaphor for a power dynamic.
Okay, so that's our mission for this deep dive then.
Right.
We want to go beyond just noticing these characters. We need to break down why their faces are missing and figure out what that absence is actually telling us about the story and its world.
That's the plan. We're going to explore, let's say, 4 main reasons or functions behind this facelessness. And the first one is maybe the most classic, using it to show a specific point of view, usually a child's.
Ah, okay, like when the story is told through a kid's eyes.
Exactly. In those stories, adults often aren't the main focus. They're sort of background elements or maybe distant authority figures.
Right, they make the rules or they're just kind of there. But the real story is happening with the kids.
Precisely. So the analysis suggests that these adult characters often fade visually. Their faces are hidden or obscured because they aren't the emotional center of the kid's universe. They don't really need complex inner lives for the kid's story to work.
That makes sense. And the prime example, the one everyone knows, has to be Peanuts.
Peanuts is the blueprint for this in many ways. You have Charlie Brown, Snoopy, Elaine, all their philosophical chats and anxiety.
And then there are the adults. You almost never see them fully, usually just legs or maybe from the waist down. And crucially, that voice.
The muffled trombone, the wah, wah, wah. It's genius, really.
Oh.
And according to the analysis, this is completely intentional.
So it's not just about saving animation cells.
Not primarily, no. The world of Peanuts belongs entirely to the kid. The adults exist teachers, parents, but they only shape the environment. They set boundaries, maybe, but they don't drive the plot. Their adult problems are just irrelevant to Charlie Brown trying.
And the muffled voice thing, I never quite thought about it this way, but the analysis connects it to how young kids actually hear adults.
Yes. Think about it. When you're really little, you pick up on the tone of adult conversations, right? Anger, happiness, sadness. But the actual words, the complex reasons behind the emotion, they often just wash over you. It's like background noise.
Yeah, you get the vibe, but not the specifics.
Exactly. So that muffled wah-wah sound is the perfect symbol for that auditory experience. The adult's words are there, technically, but they don't register as meaningful information. It brilliantly keeps the focus squarely on the kid's world, their struggle.
Wow. So hiding the face and muffling the voice keeps the audience locked into that childhood perspective. It makes it universal, too, because everyone remembers feeling that way, like the adult world was this separate, slightly incomprehensible thing.
Spot on. It seals you inside the innocence and the very real anxieties of child. And this idea, this self-contained kid universe, gets pushed even further in other Ed.
Oh, yeah, Ed and Eddy. The adults aren't just faceless. They're basically gone. You almost never see or hear.
It's a defining feature of that show's whole vibe, isn't it? The analysis points out that this near total absence of adult really hammers home that the cul-de-sac is this isolated bubble of childhood.
It's like they've created their own little society there.
Completely. They have their own rules, their own social hierarchy.
And their own economy. Eddy's always running scams, usually just to get enough money for a jawbreaker.
Right. And because there are no adults to step in and say, hey, stop that, or, impose real-world consequences, all the conflict has to come from within the kid's world.
So Eddy's scams fail because Kevin, the cool older kid, messes with them, or
Double D points out the logical flaws, or the Kanger sisters show up and cause chaos. The threats and the solutions are all kid-generated.
But doesn't removing the adults entirely risk making the world feel untethered? Like the stakes aren't real.
That's a fair question, but I think the show gets away with it because of its exaggerated style and because it taps into something very real about child.
What do you mean?
Well, when you're a kid, getting that jawbreaker does feel like the most important thing. Avoiding the neighborhood bullies is high. The show exaggerates it visually, but the feeling is authentic.
Ah, okay. So by keeping adults totally off screen, the show forces you, the viewer, to adopt that same magnified, kid-centric view of the world.
Exactly. You're locked in that bubble with them. The neighborhood is the universe. The problems are life or death. The missing adults solidify that perspective, all about maintaining that pure childhood.
Okay, that really clarifies the perspective angle. But you said there were other reasons for Faceless. Let's shift gears. Yeah. Sometimes it's not about whose eyes we're seeing through, right? It's more metaphorical.
Precise. This is where it gets really fast. The missing face can become a symbol for something much bigger, more abstract. Something like power, capitalism, or even a kind of inhumanity.
Okay, now you definitely have my attention. Who embodies that?
The analysis points squarely at Wizard Kelly from the Proud Family.
Ah, yes. The man who's always cut off at the shoulders, super tall, super rich.
And that visual is key. He's consistently shown in this extreme low-angle shot, cropped so you never see his head. It's not just a running gag, it's a deliberate choice.
Why, though? What's the message in the crop?
The idea is that his face is irrelevant because he, as an individual, is irrelevant. He's not meant to be relatable or human. He's a symbol.
The symbol of
wealth, power, unfettered capital. That towering height and the way he's framed makes him seem literally and figuratively out of reach, untouchable, like some kind of corporate god looming over everyone.
And he kind of is looming over everything, isn't he?
Yeah.
The analysis mentioned how much he owns in town.
Oh, yeah. Wizard Kelly Theaters, the Wizard Kelly Stadium, school programs funded by him. His name and brand are plastered everywhere. He doesn't need a face because his identity is his money, his brand, his empire. He's become the system itself.
That feels kind of chill.
It gets darker. The analysis argues his facelessness is also a comment on his complete lack of empathy. He's been dehumanized by his wealth. Since his entire focus is profit, the animators refuse to give him the most humanizing feature. It represents his selfishness, his greed.
And the show gives concrete examples of this, right? It's not just implied. I remember the storyline with Penny's singing group, LPDZ.
Oh, that's a perfect example. Wizard Kelly signs them, seems like a big break, but watch what happens.
He identifies Penny as the real star. The moneymaker.
And instantly drops the other girls, Zoe, Dijonay, La Cienega, just like that. Their value was purely monetary. The second they weren't the most profitable asset, they were disposable.
Wow, that's a brutal depiction of, well, how people can be treated like commodities.
Exactly. It's a sharp critique. And it continues when Penny tries to leave the label herself.
Oh, right. The contract. She walks away with nothing, doesn't she?
Absolutely nothing. The fine print, the classic exploitative contract, ensures Wizard Kelly keeps every penny she earned, all the rights. It's a pretty pointed commentary on how the entertainment industry historically has sometimes chewed up young artists, profit over people.
And didn't this predatory stuff come up again later in Louder and Prouder? Something with Penny's dad, Oscar.
Yes, with snack. Oscar needs a loan to expand his unique snack business. And who steps in? Wizard Kelly.
Okay, setting off alarm bells already.
As it should. It looks like help, but it's a trap. The analysis breaks down how Kelly structures the loan with insane interest rates. Basically impossible.
So he wasn't expecting Oscar to actually pay it back bit by bit.
No, he was waiting. He knew Oscar was due a large compensation check, $500,000. The moment that money lands, poof, Kelly seizes the entire amount as repayment for the loan.
That's incredibly calculated. Predatory, really.
And that's the point the analysis drives home. It's symbolic of real-world predatory lending practice, things designed to trap people, waiting to exploit a windfall or vulnerability. So Wizard Kelly's facelessness works on two levels, untouchable power and the cold, inhuman face of systemic. He dominates their world.
Okay, so facelessness can represent huge systems like capitalism. Can it also work on a smaller scale?
Yeah.
Like within a family.
Absolutely. Which brings us to our third category, facelessness representing emotional absence or distance, often within a parent-child relationship.
And the key example here is Mac's mom from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Exactly. We essentially never see her face. She's usually just a voice from off screen, or maybe you see her legs or her back. She's never really a full character visual.
And the analysis suggests this isn't just a visual quirk. It reflects her role in Mac's life.
Precise. Their relationship is portrayed as, well, distant, almost neglectful. She seems emotionally unavailable, not really tuned into what Mac needs or feels.
She seems more like an obstacle sometimes, someone Mac has to manage or avoid.
That's a good way to put it. She's emotionally absent. So symbolically, she doesn't get a face because From Mac's emotional viewpoint, she's not fully present for him. The face implies connection, empathy, things seemingly lacking in their dynamic.
And there's specific instances of this neglect, right? Like with Mac's older brother, Terrence.
Yeah, Terrence is constantly bullying Mac, but Mac's mom often seems oblivious. Or worse, she sometimes sides with Terrence, dismissing Mac's complaint. He's left feeling kind of unprotected, even at home.
Which makes Blue, his imaginary friend, even more important.
Critically important. Blue isn't just a fun imaginary pal. He's filling a void. He represents the stability, the unconditional support that Mac isn't getting.
And the show really highlights this in the pilot episode, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When the mom decides Mac is too old for Blue.
Yes. She frames Blue, this vital emotional support for Mac, as just a problem to solve. She doesn't see why Blue exists or what he means to Mac. She just wants him gone because it doesn't fit her idea of Mac growing.
So her detachment, her lack of understanding, actually forces Mac's hand.
It does. He has to find a solution himself, which leads him to take Blue to Foster's home. Her emotional and visual absence is the catalyst for the entire premise of the show, the search for a supportive alternative family.
Because she can't be that anchor for him.
Exactly. If she were a present, empathetic mother, Foster's wouldn't be necessary in the way. The home itself becomes the replacement.
Right. You have Frankie as the reliable older sister figure.
Madam Foster providing wisdom and acceptance. Wilt, Eduardo, Coco offering kindness and
all the things seemingly missing from his home life.
So Mac's mom's facelessness is doing that double duty again. It's a visual representation of her emotional invisibility. The absence of her face mirrors the connect. Blue exists because of that void.
Okay, perspective, power, emotional distance. That covers a lot. What's the final category?
The final one's kind of the flip side. It's about how withholding the face makes the rare moments when you see it incredibly powerful. It's about intimacy earned through scarcity.
The power of the reveal.
Exactly. When a character is consistently faceless, that absence builds up a kind of visual tension, maybe. So when the face is finally shown, even partially, it carries significant weight. And the prime example here is Miss Bellum.
From the Powerpuff Girl. The mayor's incredibly competent, stylish secretary, always seen from the neck down, or with that big red hair covering everything.
Right. For most of the series, she's the definition of faceless competence. She's the brains of the operation, contrasting with the mayor's clueless. Her facelessness reinforces her role as this efficient, almost symbolic figure.
But the analysis points out that we do see glimpses of her face sometimes. It's not absolute.
Correct. And those moments are very specific, very intentional. It's not random. The creators use the reveal strategically. It's like they're spending carefully saved intimacy current.
Okay, so when do we see her face? What are the conditions?
It almost always happens when she steps out of her purely administrative role and into something more personal, more active, when she's comforting the girls like a mother figure, giving them crucial advice, or even becoming a hero herself.
Ah, okay, so it signals a shift in her role.
Precisely. Take the episode, Something's Amiss. Sedusa is causing trouble, and Miss Bellum has to go undercover to stop her.
Right. And in that episode, we actually see parts of her face, her eyes especially.
Yes. Because the plot requires her to be more than just the secretary. She has to be an active protagonist, a hero. Showing glimpses of her face reinforces her agency, her individuality. The camera literally adjusts to capture her features. She's not just a symbol anymore. She's a person taking action.
I like how you mentioned the camera work. It really does shift, doesn't it? From keeping her distant to suddenly inviting us to see her expression.
It totally supports the narrative shift.
Yeah.
And we see it again when she's offering guidance. Remember, the rowdy ref boys, the Powerpuff Girls are getting beaten. They're overwhelmed.
Yeah, they can't just punch their way out of that problem.
Exactly. And Miss Bellum steps in with wisdom. She advises them to use a softer, more emotional approach, not just brute.
And as she's giving this really important advice, teaching them emotional intelligence,
we see parts of her face again. Her eyes, her mouth expressing concern or encouragement. The framing changes because it's an intimate moment of mentorship. She's acting like a caregiver, passing on crucial life lessons.
Humanizes her in that moment.
Completely. She leans down, connects with them in a way the mayor can't, and the professor, absorbed in his science, often doesn't. In those moments, offering that specific kind of support, she earns her face visually. She transforms from the mysterious symbol into someone deeply connected to the girl's growth, almost like family.
And the impact comes from the fact that it's so rare.
Absolutely. If we saw her face all the time, it wouldn't mean anything special. But because it's withheld 99% of the time, the reveal becomes significant. The mystery fades. And what emerges is intimate trust and her genuine importance to the girl.
So the face becomes a visual cue for her stepping into that deeper, more human role.
Exact. It signals warmth, guidance, dependability. It's the show's way of letting you know that beneath the stylish exterior and the hidden feet, she's a core source of support and real wisdom for the power.
Wow. Okay, so let's try to tie this all together. We've covered a lot of ground on why characters might be faceless.
We really have. We started with facelessness as a way to represent a child's perspective, filtering the world through their eyes and ears, like in Peanuts or Ed. Then
we move to the missing face as a powerful metaphor for abstract powers like capitalism and its potential inhumanity, embodied by Wizard Kelly.
Then we explored the more intimate youth, showing emotional distance and neglect within a family, using Mac's mom from Foster.
And finally, we looked at how deliberately hiding the face creates power in the reveal, making moments of connection and like with Miss Bellum, incredibly meaningful.
And the bigger picture here, the common thread, the analysis, is that these faceless characters exist in this interesting space between being present, and their lack of a face forces us, the audience, to look past individual personality.
And focus instead on what they represent.
Exact. Whether it's authority or exploitation or neglect or even earned care and guidance, they become symbols of larger forces or dynamics with the world.
That makes a lot of sense. And connecting that to our own lives, I mean, think about it. So many powerful forces that influence us, huge industries, economic systems, societal expectations, they don't really have a single face we can interact with, do they?
Not usually, no. They can feel pervasive, untouchable, yet hugely influential. Faceless characters in animation are, in a way, a brilliant visual shorthand for capturing them. It shows that sometimes removing the face actually makes the concept more potent, more symbolic.
So a final thought for you, listener. The next time you're watching a cartoon and you see a character whose face is hidden, maybe cropped out, or always in shadow, or just never shown, try not to just dismiss it as a weird design choice.
Yeah, take a second and ask yourself, what is the function of this missing face? If I focus on what this character represents rather than who they are as an individual.
What is their missing face telling me about the forces shaping this story?